Okay, so the last bit we need to do before we can start writing our character to the database is we're going to work on modifying our stats using our points. As you can see here, we've got a little modifier tool here, and when you click the plus sign, the number increases, and when you click the minus sign, the number decreases. So this is the function. We've got stat mod, and it contains x and y variables. The y variable is the what we're going to perform on the number, so it'll either be increase or decrease. The x variable is the class we're modifying. So if y equals increase, then we take that, we create a variable and call it mod, and that equals we pass the integer of the class of x dot text. So we're taking the content of that span, we're running it through the parseInt function, and then we're plussing 1, we're adding 1 to it, and then after that we're rewriting the text inside of that span, and we're just filling it with the variable of mod. Else we're doing the same thing here, but instead of adding 1, we're minusing 1, and then filling the text content of that class with mod. So if we come over here, if we look at this one, this is what all the stats currently look like, or the stat modifiers currently look like. It's just got 0 with a plus and minus buttons in A tags. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take this 0, and we're just going to wrap span tags around it with the class of mod, and this is the accuracy stat, so we're just going to give that a class of mod accuracy. And on the minus button, we're going to give this an on-click event of stat mod, and we're modifying the accuracy, and we're decreasing the stat. So we can take this and copy it over to the plus, and we can just change this to increase and save it. So when we refresh, we can now modify our accuracy, and we can modify our health. So I'm going to go through and do it for the rest of them, and then we're going to work on reducing the points to spend limit. Okay, so I've gone through and I've added this function to all of the buttons. So now we're going to work on reducing this number here. If we come back over to our page, you can see the points to spend section here, and the number has a span tags already around it. So we're going to give this a class, and we're just going to call this PST, so it's points, PTS even, points to spend. And we'll come back over to the character box, the character page with our JavaScript in it. So, and do another if function. No, we're going to create a new variable and just call this points or PTS. We're going to do the pass integer, and we're targeting this class. We're taking the text value from that. From that class, right. So inside of here we're going to do another if statement. So if points is less equal to 0, sorry, is more than 0, then we want to modify the stat, and then we're going to make points equal points plus 1, minus 1 even. So we're removing 1 from the points variable, and then we're putting that variable inside the text value of that class, which is that span, and we're going to do the same thing on reducing the stat modifier, but in this time, if points is less than or equal to 20, we're going to do the same thing here, but instead of minusing 1, we're adding 1. So when we come over to here and we create a new character, so the adding what at the we can only add 20 extra points onto this, but for some reason when we come back down to 0 and it equals 20, it's still letting us add 1. Because we're saying if it's less to or equal than 20, then we can reduce the value, but we just want it to be less than 20. So anyway, when we refresh that, you can see we can't actually minus any if that is equal to 20. But if we add 4 here, it's allowing us to take 4 away still, sending this modifier into minus figures. So we've got to stop that happening as well. So what we'll do is we'll take this up here, so we'll get the value of that modifier before we run the if statement, and we just put and mod does not equal 0, So when we refresh, we shouldn't be able to take these down past 0, but we can still add points on, and we can reduce points. Sorry, minus is less than 0. Equal to or more than 0. We will get this right. There we go. So if points is less than 20 and mod is greater than or equal to 0, then we want to make the adjustment. So that's got us safe for not going over our limit, and it also stops us going into minus points. Okay, so the last thing we need to do now is we need to make this create button work, and we need to create the character into the database itself. So we're going to come back over to our character.php page. I'm just going to create a new function in the JavaScript section of create character. And we're going to set up some variables. So we've got character name, we've got character class, we're going to have the modifier HP, the dexterity, the might, the focus, and the insight. And we're going to use the pass int function on all of these but the character name. So when we come back in the next video, we will finish setting up the variables and posting over the information to our create character box function page. So join me in the next video.